Hi, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to explain what is synchronous or blocking request and asynchronous or non-blocking request. In terms of function, we will explain in this video. So to demonstrate the difference between synchronous and asynchronous, we'll write a code first. So I'm writing a function named count3. So I have created a function named count3 and it has a for loop. This for loop will print 1, 2 and 3 while running. And I have exported this function to main or app.js. Right. So I have given two console log statements. One is read sync function started and continuing with next works. Here continuing with next works, I mean to say main thread has main thread resumed its operation of the next executing next lines, right? In between that, I'm just calling this count3 function. So when we run this app.js file, the first console log statement has been printed, and then it seems this function has been called and this for loop has been executed, and that's why we got 1, 2 and 3, and then finally continuing with the next works. So here I would like to mention that this execution is sequential. The app.js started its execution, first line, seventh line is completed, and then this function has been called and control goes to this function. It completes its execution, and till this completes its execution, the app.js file will not continue executing the rest of the lines. So it is sequential, and this is blocking. In the sense, till this completes, this will have to wait, and till this app.js completes this execution, other files that might refer the sync function has to wait till this completes. Other files that has a reference to this count3 will have to wait till this app.js releases this resource, for example. So this is synchronous or blocking in the sense it will not allow other resources or something to access till this releases. Now we will come back to async function. So we will write almost the same function with a small change. So just changing the name. So in order to create a scenario like this function will take some time to execute, will take some long time to finish, I'm just creating a timeout statement so that this will hold the execution for 10 microseconds or something, and then it will execute next lines. So when we run this for loop, that will wait for 10 microseconds, then console log statement, and then uh, loop iteration will follow. So now count 3 asynchronous function, right? So reading asynchronous function, count 3 async, and continuing with next works. Here you can see the difference between the synchronous and asynchronous. Then so when I run this output, you will see the differences between the synchronous and asynchronous outputs. See, to avoid confusion, see, this is synchronous function output and this is asynchronous function output. You can see the difference. It is seem to be executed sequentially. First console line, then function completes its execution, and then only next it is continuing for the other works. But in asynchronous function, reading asynchronous function started, this function has been called and allowed to run independently without blocking the execution of this app.js, and that is why this console log statement has been printed. And after calling this function, continuing with next work, that is this console log statement has been printed. This intimates that after calling this without waiting for its result, the app.js started executing the rest of the lines. But what happened to this asynchronous function? So this is running independently aside, so that's why we are getting 1 2 3, and we have added a then statement here which will intimate us that once this execution has been completed, this console log has to be printed, and that is why we got this read async function completed printed here. So this is the difference between synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous are blocking that will execute sequentially, and each and every line has to wait for completion of the current line execution, and then only it will move forward to executing next line. But asynchronous is not like that. Asynchronous function or request or whatever it may be, it will be allowed, it will be called and allowed to run independently, and then the main thread will start executing the other lines. So this is same for HTTP request or async functions, any kind of synchronous and asynchronous things in Node.js. Hope this video is informative. Uh, Thanks for watching. Keep supporting us.